Welcome to All Souls Enlightenment with Seeker Messenger of Truth. Ascension ENERGIEz. Spiritual coaching without the fluff. Hello everyone, how are you? I was told to come on here and speak about the message I received in regards to OzIRIz and ISIS and forgiveness. I have a big message today, and it was received by Archangel Azraelz. In fact, I could deal without that right now. Can't think. They're interfering. First, I want to say hello to everyone that's watching. And I want to say that I miss you guys very, very much. And what I need to speak to you about is very significant in the energies that are going on right now. In this specific moon cycle and in this specific timeline, cosmic energies and such, the planetary energies upon all there is hitting us in such a manner until it's disturbing and uprooting everything. In fact, there's mudslides here in New Jersey. Woo! All these floods and things. Why do you think they're happening? Let's sit down and say, things that make you say, right? The floods. What does water represent? Emotions, correct? So the planet, as I've always said, will take care of itself. People are concerned about saving the planet. You need to be concerned about saving yourselves. Souls. Your own souls. The planet will cleanse itself for what it needs. It's created to do such. So that it doesn't make sense for anyone to try and save the planet if you can't even save yourself. Let's sit there for a moment and see what that means. What does that mean to you? It's rhetorical. Chew on that for a moment. Going back to the situation with the floods and things, this is the time of ascension. This is the reveal. This is revelation. So what does that mean? That means that it's time to get your shiz together. Simple as that. A lot of you wonder, I'm going to break away for a moment, why I always deal in skulls and death and stuff. A lot of you are like, oh, she's dark and whatever. No. Death is not dark. Death is not evil. Death is a way of life. Every year, something dies and comes back, does it not? The leaves off the trees fall. That's death. And then it goes down into the ground and regenerates itself back into the life force energy of all there is. It recycles. The world is purging. I did a sermon lecture a while ago about God's turned ear and how everyone's fallen from grace. And let me break away to the breakaway of the breakaway for a minute. Let me explain something to you about these fallen angels. All of you have this misconception of what a fallen angel is. I have repeatedly said what it is. Now let me just let you know, a fallen angel is nothing to do with Satan or demons at all. A fallen angel is about insubordination. Hello, Tiana. Insubordination. They came down here and they were supposed to watch a soul or be there for a soul. And a lot of times souls don't want to listen. They don't want to hear it. They, no matter what, the signs are always there. They're always protected. And they just refuse to listen. So what happens? A lot of times angelics just get sick and tired. You don't think that they get sick and tired of watching you make the same mistakes over and over again because you refuse to let go of your ego? Sit on that for a moment. There comes a time, which is now. Everyone's praying to Father, help, help, help. No, he's not helping. But guess what? He is helping by allowing himself to stand down and let the chips fall where they may. Chew on that for a moment. The book of Revelation and all many philosophers and such all across time have spoke of this time. Many of you have studied it. Many of you are religious and you go to Bible study. Shouldn't you know the signs are telling you what it is? Why are you praying for peace? You're going against the divine's order, which is the divine's plan. I'll let you sit on that for a moment as well. The earth and all there is purging the energies from all timelines. All the different souls and what they've been through every era of time. Where do you think that energy goes? The energy goes nowhere. Hi, Ron. But it just sits on the planet or the environment until the soul returns, and then it attaches itself once it's born. It's incarnated. It sits dormant and waits. It has to purge. It has to release in order to be cleansed, purified, and prepared for the soul's ascension. Do you not think that the world is not ascending as well? It can't hold those horrible energies that you are working so hard to remove and release. It is a total mass collective of purging. Floods, all the rain. Think about it for a moment. So many of you are thinking that you can get away with not healing and skipping to ascension. Nope, it doesn't work that way. A lot of times, everyone is trying to get away with, they say, oh, I'll forgive, but I won't forget. That's not forgiving. You're still holding on to that energy. If you truly release and surrender it, what happens? It becomes a faded occurrence. Merely an event that taught you something, and you become grateful for it. The next time you see the person, it doesn't even cross your mind as anything. It just becomes, thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the soul contract that you had with me, because that was a turning point in my life that I needed. When was I going to realize that I was not in my correctness? I was not in my righteousness. Sometimes things must be done to us, which is for us, in order for us to get our shit together. our come to Jesus moment, our come to repent to ourselves. We must be held accountable for ourselves. You hold yourself accountable. Integrity is not something that is on this planet, but it's something your true inner being, your soul, your true being holds most dear. I'll let you sit on that for a moment. When are we going to realize that it's necessary to drop it all? We can't pick and choose what we want to drop. You also have to remember, you can't run away from things either. You're being consistently, what's the word I'm looking for? Presented, thank you. Presented with opportunities to relieve yourself of things that don't longer serve you. Hello, Shanae. Which no longer serve you. Does it serve you to everything you think, everything you do, everything you imagine, everything you feel is energy? You won't forget? Really? You're going to use that kind of space for that? When you say you surrender it, that means you surrender it. You set it and forget it. I did a post one day on that famous chef who had the set it and forget it oven. And that's the way we should be. We set the intent and we forget it. We don't keep nagging Father for it. We don't keep nagging Universe for it. And then we don't just set it, forget it, and do nothing to put anything of energy into it. We have to work for it. We must work for it. Put the time in. You set it, forget it. You ask Father for a job. What do? You sit down and pray and say, show me. And then you don't be so adamant about staying inside your little box either, right? It's time to branch out and show that you're more than what you have confined yourself to be. Put in a position for something that you don't even have a degree for. What does that do for us? It gives us confidence, and it also prepares us for rejection. That's a lot of the issue. People are afraid to be rejected. So what, you rejected? Think about that. So you rejected, and then what? You cry a little, it hurt a little. That's it. When you think about it, is that really necessary? To put all that energy into that? I didn't think so. It lets you know. Really sit down and think. Redo your resume. What does your resume say? Does it say just that you were a customer service person? Or does it say that you're a troubleshooter? You're an expert at resolving conflict. Resolution expert specialist. See how that went? That you like that. Even I want to hire that person. That's what it became now. Do you see how big that grows? Think outside of your box. Give your resume a makeover. Give yourself a makeover. Give your soul a makeover. Cleanse and purge of what's necessary. You can't take it with you. And that doesn't mean materialistic things. I keep saying this. It means emotional baggage. This is what keeps people looped in fourth dimension purgatory. You will keep learning that lesson over and over and over. Take the long way, but either way, you're gonna go kicking and screaming. They will just bump you up and shoot you up with some more solar flares to burn off that shiz that you refuse to get rid of. We're all going. You can't stop it. Now let that sit with you for a moment as well. Forgiveness is a huge thing. It becomes burdensome when you don't release it properly. Do you ever really notice how much better you feel and the best sleep you've ever had is after a good cry? Yeah. After a really good cry, right? So, let it go. If you really truly surrender it, when are you going to let it go? I'm wondering, like, do you guys ever really think about it? Do you truly think about release and surrender? I'm going to go back to what I was referring to about death. The kiss of death is not what people think it is. You see my lips? And you see the skeleton. I'm going to finally explain what that means. To remove the fear from all of you, my number one is Archangel Azrael. He protects me. He guides me. He tells me everything. All about death. All about souls. Why I know so much is because he is my number one guide, my protector. He stands with me and in me at all times. Therefore, when I say I'm saying something, it's coming from him, or I specifically say, Kaisa. But the kiss of death, people have given it a bad rap. I'm here to present Archangel Azrael to you guys in a whole new light. Death is a moment to be reborn. Without death, Christ could never have resurrected. Yeah, I'm going to repeat that. Without death, Christ would have never resurrected. How about that? The kiss of death comes upon a being when the ego dies. Simple. So that the true subconscious can rule and the etheric soul can take over. Run by the Holy Spirit. Ruled by the Holy Spirit. Governed by the Holy Spirit. A lot of you want to say, religion, religion, religion. Hey, get off that. Because that means you have a serious belief system of your own. You need to drop that as well. Anything that holds disdain must be dropped. It's negative force energy that must be released. The kiss of death means that all that was shall no longer be. That's not in the good of the Holy Most High. It must die and come back reborn as goodness and light. Nothing else shall stand. Nothing else shall reign. Nothing else shall ascend. Nothing else will be accepted. And for those that are into religion, nothing else will be accepted into the pearly gates. So think twice when you say you won't forget. What do you think the other cheek means? Turn the other cheek, meaning I'm out. Turn the other cheek, I'm out. That's what it means. You don't have to stay with that person. You don't have to be friends or even relatives, especially those. You can't. The devil is a liar. I'm going to get this out. You can say no. You have a voice. I want you right now, if you're not at work, you can say it under your breath. But if you're by yourself right now, or you're even in your home, even if you're not by yourself, you have a right, unless the babies are sleeping, you definitely don't want to disturb them. But I want you to think about this. Think about all the different things that have transpired in your life and how you felt that you had no voice. Take a deep breath in right now. Hold it. Think, think, think. And when I say go, you yell no. Ready? Relax your shoulders. Go. No. Say it again. No. Say it again. No. How did that feel? No, I won't be subjected to your abuse. No, I won't. It's mental, physical, spiritual abuse. Hidden behind some religions. Spiritual abuse. Hidden by yourself. Self-sabotage because you refuse to be and speak your truth of who you truly are. Just know that you are important. You matter. And I did a video on that too. It isn't matter. Why do people, cutaway to the cutaway, say it doesn't matter? How does that make sense? Make it make sense, people. Matter is a noun. If that's the case, it isn't matter, which means what? It doesn't exist. That person that hurt you, it isn't matter. Why did they hurt you? Did it take them to hurt you before you woke up and realized something? How long did it take? When is enough enough? Are you a person that takes extremes before you get the message? Think about it. Is that the case? I'll let that sit for a moment. The kiss of death is something we should embrace. Just be ready for it. Because it's here. Hi, Christy. Hi, Rosie. It's here. It's the end of times. Bad times. Malicious times. Greed. Suppression. Matriarchic oppression. Patriarchal oppression. We're told, shh, be quiet. Why? Why in the world do we need to be quiet? For what? world order. Is that what that is? Don't let them fool you. True world order is the new world order, which is Christ, Christos, consciousness, collective. Not unity. Unity is Antichrist. It sounds very similar to the same thing. But what they'll say is these words. Well, we don't want to say anything is religious. Christ is... Let me break this down for y'all. You ready? Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to speak truth. Do you know what Christ is, people? You atheists and people who said, I don't like religion and Jesus is this and the fact that you have blood and blah, 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 blah. Don't be foolish. Let me break this down to you. Christ stands for crystalline. Crystalline. Which is what your bodies are becoming. We're all Christ as we ascend. We're getting crystalline bodies. You catching up? Y'all catching up? We're acquiring and transforming, metamorphosing into crystalline bodies from the carbon-based body. Our chromosomes are changing. It hurts. It's uncomfortable. But guess what? If you simply surrender to it, allow it to do its thing, let nature take its course, you'll be better for it. We must shed and purge what no longer serves us. That's what the kiss of death is all about. Drop the ego, consciousness, and let subconscious be your guide. The subconscious is simply the ether self. And that's the one that should rule. I'll let that sink for a minute. So the Chryst, C-H-R-Y-S-T, OS, O-S, operating system, consciousness. Let me repeat that. That's the Christos consciousness. We're all AI here. We learn through adaptation. We learn through compromising. We learn through observation. We learn through experience. We are learning at every moment in time from the minute we're born. You're talking about machines. Machines are doing exactly what we were programmed to do since we got here. There's no difference between them and us. We are AI. Our operating system is artificial intelligence. It's what we are programmed to believe, either through religion, parenting, child rearing, experiences and such. It's not real. None of it's real. Only thing that's real is our heart chakra and our soul chakras, our inner knowing. And all of that is through what? Our subconscious. That's all it is. It's through our subconscious. So, as we turn into crystalline bodies, which is what transpired, which happens when we die. Oh. Share this video with anyone you know that wants to comprehend what death truly is. The knowledge that I hold is from the Akashic Records of all. Now let me cut away for that for a minute. Everybody's like, oh, the Akashic Records. And, Everyone has access to their own Akashic Records. Everybody. But not everyone has clearance for everybody's. Okay, I'm not going to repeat that. But trust me, there's like this handful that has access to everybody. All right. Now, there's more percentage that have access to most. But even then, there's some things that are still hidden. Now, with that being said, work on thyself. Everything that you have is held in honor in your Akashic Records. Why am I bringing this up? Because the dream that I had and the way Azraelz brought it to me is now. I'm going to break it down for you. Ooh, it's a lot. Woo, it's a lot. All right, here we go. Ready? All right. Forgiveness is a necessary thing. When the Jesus man was carrying that burden, that cross, which is the struggles that man carry every day, he said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That meant a lot. He wasn't talking to Father. He doesn't need Father to forgive anybody. Father doesn't need to forgive anyone because that's a whole nother story. The way life is created here, everything is created to do what it's doing. All right? And they're created with options and variables. So if this goes this way, that'll happen, or it triggers this or that. And I don't want to get into all of that. But the multidimensional us, me, is a video that I have as well. Please watch. I will place that in the description box below, okay? There's several things that you could watch that I'm mentioning that will help you to get a clearer understanding. Now stay with me very closely. The forgiveness is the self-forgiveness. Forgive them. He was speaking in third person to himself. I'm going to tell you how this goes. You ever talk to yourself in third person? Speak of yourself in third person? Now, why in the world would she do something stupid like that? We've all done it once or twice. In this instance, forgive yourself for allowing things to get as bad as they did and conditioning people and training people and programming people to treat you in such a manner. You allowed it to go on so long. Why? It had to get really ugly and down to the nitty-gritty and extreme in order for you to say, no. I won't. Isn't that correct? Think about it for a moment. So, when the etheric soul, or I should say, because Jesus did not have a soul, he was pure energy. That's something else. But when the energy ether left the body, right? Forgive them. That is what had to be released. And then, after a few bit time, the blood was shed. What did he say? It's finished. And that's when it was released. That was the purging. That was the purging. It's simply representation, people. That's all. He became crystalline, back to his origination. Just what we're doing. How we all began before we were born. We came down, baby was born. As it was coming out, we were going in. And then it became a living, breathing soul. Babies do not have soul. Let me repeat this. Babies have souls. Fetuses do not have souls. Okay? They don't. It's simple as that. An embryo does not have a soul. A fetus does not have a soul. It doesn't exist. But it becomes a living, breathing soul once it's born. As it comes through that canal, shoots in, and becomes one. Otherwise, it's just energy. Just saying. In a form of something. As it materializes or manifests into a tangible vessel, being, to hold a soul. But I don't want to get into all that either. Now, with that being said, let's get back to the crystalline, right? So crystalline, which is really Christalline. So, the Christ operating system consciousness, because it's here, it's released once the awakening is happening. It's the resurrection of oneself. The old dies and we resurrect within ourselves. It's a representation of the physical, of the etheric life force energy process. Death and rebirth. Death and resurrection. It's all there together. It's all there and self-explained. It's nothing complicated. But what the issue is, the acceptance of it is where we come into a problem. We need to learn how to forgive ourselves before we can forgive another person. See, you saying you've forgiven somebody else, but have you forgiven yourself for allowing that to take place in the first place? Allowing someone to treat you in such a manner for such a long period of time because you refuse to let go. You feel obligated. Or because it's my mother. Oh, because it's my daughter. Oh, because it's my son. Oh, because it's my dad. Oh, who else is going to take care of them if I don't do it? Honey, when you put your hands up and surrender and say, I don't want to do this no more, watch how shit changes in your life. Now, you may think your life is falling apart and everybody going away. Yes, everyone going away because Father said they can't go where you're going. They're not ready. And they will do nothing but pull you down like crabs in a basket. Now, if it's someone that just met you and you feel that you have been treated in such a way, why? What are they presenting to you? Were they there to trigger you because it's something you need to heal or change within yourself? Are you easily angered? Was that a test of your true inner peace you claim you have? Oh, let me repeat that. Are you quick to anger? Because that goes against all of what we should be doing here. Are you working on yourself? And if you're working on that building, which is thyself, then it shouldn't be an issue when someone acts in a certain manner towards you. You should easily be saying, oh, I worked on that last night in that meditation. You didn't get me. Ha, 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 ha. You didn't get me. Ha, 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 ha. I still feel good. I remember when that would have triggered me. I remember when that would have pissed me off. I remember when I went off on somebody. I remember when I would have been gah, 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 and it didn't even affect me. Ooh. Embrace those triggers. Embrace those tests from the universe. Since you claim this is what you're doing. This is how you will, only way you will truly know is if you're tested. And as you go up and evolve into more, you receive greater and bigger tests. It starts off with what? A spelling bee. Then it becomes what? Essays. Reading comprehension. Right? How do you get a master's degree? You have to write a thesis. And how did it start? All by learning the ABCs. I'll let that sit for a moment. Let's get back to the kiss of death and forgiveness. The energies that are upon this planet right now, and this is what was told to me by Archangel Azrael. The OzIRIz and ISIS energies of forgiveness. Let me give you a quick little story. You talk about betrayal. This is what we're working on. OzIRIz and ISIS were brothers and sisters. But they were still true twin flames of light, regardless. Back in the day, that was how it all began. It's a whole different thing right now. Brothers and sisters don't do that now. But, moving on. They were true twin flames of light. And they had another brother and sister. Anubis was born because Isis' sister, Isis, she decided to do a glamour spell and portray herself to be Isis because she wanted to lay with OzIRIz. So every night she would appear to him in the garden and they would meet. He had no idea that that was her. He thought it was Isis. Now, this big thing is Nephthys and let's go to Set were a couple. And Isis and OzIRIz were a couple. So it wasn't cool for her to be meeting with OzIRIz. When Isis followed him one night and found out and exposed that it wasn't her, OzIRIz went into very, very deep sadness. This is about betrayal. This is about forgiveness and self-forgiveness. She forgave him. He had to forgive himself. That guilt, remorse, all these different things. How could I not know? How could I not know? It gets deeper. She gets pregnant with a baby. Now, what's the big deal about that? It was OzIRIz. How do you know? She was with Set. Well, because Set couldn't have children. He couldn't have them. He couldn't. His stuff was not quality to make more. Okay? So, with that being said, it was automatically known. Here comes jealousy, envy, and anger, hate, disdain. What does he do? He fools his own brother OzIRIz, who was also fooled. He would never have done that purposefully, for he was betrothed to Isis. They were twins in the womb. That's all they ever knew was each other. That's the deepest relationship you could ever imagine. They shared each other's thoughts, so there was no way that he would purposefully do this to his brother. With that being said, he fools OzIRIz, and what does he do? He chops him up to a whole bunch of pieces and puts him all over the place. Now, here we go. More betrayal. Here we go with bloodshed between brothers like Cain and Abel. Hence, the bloodshed to hit the ground from the Jesus person. That's the alchemy that must have been met, that had to be met. Do you understand? As above, so below. All right. I don't want to get into that, but just filling you in on that part. And this is when the ground cried out and told the Holy Most High what was going on. This is all about betrayal, I repeat, and forgiveness. The energies on this planet are the OzIRIz and ISIS energies of forgiveness. Thereafter, OzIRIz, whenever he reincarnated here, and ISIS, whenever she reincarnated here, there were still those energies on the planet. That anger grew. OzIRIz and ISIS were never able to live happy lives in each reincarnation thereafter. She was killed. He was killed. They could never come together, because that's the energies that were playing out repetitively in each reincarnation here. That's just to give you an example of how that works. But right now, this is about clearing those energies. I received a message. That's what I'm going to call it, a message. But I channeled ISIS, and she says, we must forgive. See, I'm telling you this because my dream was about the AKASHIC Recordz and all these golden leaves that were falling outside amongst me while I was reading the book. And it's all about all the different times that something happened, victim, in all the different lives and all the things that were done to wrong OzIRIz and ISIS. And she said, we must forgive. Let them know we must forgive. If we can forgive and shed ourselves of all of that, and forgive my sister for what she did to me, I have to learn how to forgive my brother. Can't live in fear. So every time she was here, she lived in fear. He wanted her son Horus dead as well. I'm going to let you in on something that transpired with me as well. Sect who came to me, that deity, I felt a really uncomfortable edginess in my home. And I knew it wasn't evil or anything, but I always knew that there's something new in my environment on a spiritual level. And it was Sect. And he said, I'm here for forgiveness. I said, what do you mean by that? I need my sister to forgive me. I need them to forgive me. I spoke to the elders and I said, is this real, or is this somebody trying to play some tricks? What's happening here? What's going on? And they said, no, this is that energy that's coming to you. And it's something that really, really set deep in my heart, because that's a deep thing to ask for forgiveness when that person has wronged you. And the thing is, you asked for these apologies. You asked for them. Then when the person comes to you, you don't want to give it to them? That makes no sense, people. So what I'm here to tell you about now. Azraelz says, to all souls, forgiveness is key. It unlocks the doors to the life of the Holy Most High. The crystalline journey awaits you. In the book of AKASHIC Recordz, every wrong must be right. That's the pass. When you stand before them to enter into the pearly gates, at the other end, on the other side, they look in the book and they say, is your name here? That's Gabriel. Is your name in the book? Have you forgiven all those wrongs? Have you forgiven all the wrongs you've done? You don't know all the wrongs you've done in your previous existences here, in your other incarnations and or maybe reincarnations. You don't know what you've done unless you've had a sit down with someone who does that, can put you into your past lives. Attila the Hun, what do you think? Where do you think that energy is? That's here. Hitler's energy was here. We have to forgive in order for the whole planet and all there is to ascend, go home to Eden Source, to make heaven on earth what it is that we so desire. You don't pray for peace. Stop doing that, because no one's listening. It's a waste of time. What you do is you go within and make peace with everything and all there is. Whatever you've done, do a Ho'oponopono. And I have a thing on that too, which erases all the previous thing in previous lifetimes that you don't know anything about that you've done. And it forgives. Forgive thyself. Forgive all. Forgive others. Release that burden. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. That goes both ways. And once all of that is said and done, your name is written. It is finished. Now your name is in the book of glory for entry. Now you pass into the wonderfulness. Eden Source is where we're going, people. But you must do the work. And it all starts with the OzIRIz and ISIS forgiveness. All the betrayal, all the hurt, all the pain, the embarrassment, the anger, release it. Let it go. Start doing more binaurals while you sleep. YouTube binaurals. Click on one for your heart. Click on anything. Type in forgiveness binaurals. See what pops up. Find one you like and sleep with it for 7 days. Every night. Work at it. Let it open up your heart. That's unconditional love. And it all starts with forgiveness, acceptance, and surrender. Well, I hope this explains a little more of the kiss of death that I do. And explains I'm here to assist Azraelz on a human surface so that people don't fear death. It's something that's just a part of all there is, and the creation cannot come unless something else goes. Everything can't just go on forever. That don't even make sense. There's a time for this, a time for that, a time for this. This is Earth. Everything has an expiration date. Are you serious? This is not universe. This is Earth. So there you go. There you have it. I guess that's my cue. My light went out. And that's done. It is finished. I hope each and every one of you have a better understanding of what death really is and why it's here and its purpose. It's time to go. Thank you for joining me. I will make this into a YouTube video. Until next time, everyone. Love to all. Peace to all. Wonders today. Ciao.